Forefathers made their nets and fish traps from woven palm leaves. Their boats were made of palm sticks bound together with rope. Sudden storms and high winds meant that fishing was dangerous but rewarding. Fish that wasn't eaten in for pearls. Our hearts beat to the rhythm of the sea. These waters contain a wealth of the finest fish, sea bream, tuna, and we exchange with traders for other things like tea and rice. Most of our homes were out of stone and lime cement. Their walls reflected the heat of the sun. Inside, the rooms stayed cooler in the midday heat. Camels hold a special place in our hearts. We honor these loyal and noble creatures which can endure the blazing desert heat for days. These camels have been loaded with dates, dried fish, household goods and food. They used to cover huge distances to reach the oases inland at Liwa and Al-Ain, along routes that camels have traveled for generations. Camel trains carried wood, charcoal, food and fodder back and forth between the coast and the inland oases, bringing much needed supplies. They also transported whole families every year from the coast to the oases to escape the worst of the summer humidity. This is what makes camels happy. In the desert, they can smell water from many miles. This oasis is fed by cool underground springs and a network of valleys, man-made channels which bring water from the mountains. Here, we produce dates, cereals, vegetables, fruit and fodder. It's a kind of paradise, cool and dry. At night, the birds settle in the shade of the trees, and you have to keep a watchful eye for the snakes and scorpions. The camel-raising Bedouins were nomadic during the months of good grazing. These were furnished with rugs and divided into separate quarters for men and women. Here, in the food preparation area, women used cauldrons and bread-making pans to make the family meal. Next door, in the measures, the men's quarters, the men would meet in the evening to talk and drink coffee. Our ancestors began to settle here more than 5,000 years ago, and they made the most of the world around them. Copper mining was one of the earliest industries here. Miners hammered away at rocks with handmade tools to uncover seams of copper ore in the mountains. Sometimes they would use fire to crack the rock face. It was a dark, dangerous place to work. Once mined, the copper ore was heated to separate the copper from the ore, a process known as smelting. Molten liquid copper was poured into molds to make tools, weapons, and jewelry. Once the casts had cooled, they were hammered into shape.
Settle down, please, children. Turn to page 17. Can anybody tell me what they see here?
See, sir.
Ahmed?
The man is diving for pearls. My great-grandfather was a pearl diver. He could hold his breath for ages. He taught me to swim and dive. One day, I'd like to be a diver too.
Look, the sea. Since oil was discovered in the Emirates, More than 40 years ago, Abu Dhabi has become one of the world's major oil producers. Much of this oil comes from under the sea. A network of offshore This is now a vibrant cosmopolitan city with a proud heritage rooted in the traditions and values of its desert and sea-going origin.